Really, dude? You're just gonna do the whole video like this? I'm gonna get demonetized for sure. Alright, there we go. Censored and definitely not phallic looking at all. How's it going, everybody? I am back with another Spooky Empire event report, and this one was for the May. Actually, technically it started yesterday, which was the end of April, but it's 2/3 of it is in May. So the May 2021 Spooky Empire, which means Mayhem is back. Spooky used to do their cons in the spring in May. They called it Mayhem. I always thought that was a really fun, stupid pun name. And then they moved when the con was. And it doesn't really matter at all, but I like saying Mayhem. I think I even called it Mayhem when it was in April. But Mayhem is back! And yeah, I went down there. I just did a one-day thing. Got my one-day wristband. And I had so much fun. It's ridiculous. I went to their kind of like mini con that they did in December. I did a video on that one as well. And that was a lot of fun. That was cool. But it was small. By nature, intentionally, it was small. You know, it was kind of just when a lot of the cons were starting to try to figure out if they could hold stuff during this whole pandemic crap. And they wanted to, crawl and then walk before you run, any of that stuff. So it scratched an itch, but not enough of that itch. And this felt more like a normal convention to me. It still wasn't maybe 100% full size, but it was close enough that it made me so happy. I was literally last night like a kid on Christmas Eve waiting for this to come. And as you can see by this table in front of me, I went a little overboard with my con activities and shopping and everything. So as my normal con ritual goes, where I'm doing a single day, drove down from Jacksonville to Orlando this morning. Got there a little before they opened. They were actually doing a really great thing that they may have done before. I have a bad habit of showing up right when the con's opening. So this time I actually showed up like half an hour early, which is rare for me. So this could be something they've done a million times, and I'm just now getting to experience it because I showed up early for once. But they actually letting people who already purchased a ticket go in, get their wristbands, and then go back outside to wait for the con to actually open, which meant that once 11 o'clock hit and the doors were open, we could just go. Like, there was no check-in process, no delay of any of that stuff. The doors were just open, which was great. It was really cool. And just to be fully back into the convention spirit, ended up in line between two other groups of people, and got to have some cool nerdy horror conversations. And that was a perfect way to start off the whole thing, right? So I went in, and the first thing I did this time was to go through the vendor room. Usually that's the thing I do secondary, but there were a lot of vendors I was excited to see, both ones I haven't, encountered in a while, and just ones that were coming to this that I knew were going to be there, that I wanted to see what they had available. I will get into all that stuff because I didn't buy anything my first go through, I don't think. Yeah, pretty sure I didn't buy anything my first go through, so I'll get into that later, but just wanted to get the lay of the land, understand what was there, what I was going to be spending my money on. Went over to the autographs room. The autographs, I think, is where they were downsized maybe a little bit from normal. I couldn't tell you offhand how many guests Spooky Empire normally has, but I know this was less than normal. But necessary. I don't know how many celebrities are comfortable doing cons yet, and just to distance people out, you obviously don't want a bunch of people crammed into a space. So one of the main draws they had this time were the girls of Rob Zombie's Halloween. So they had Scout Taylor Compton, Christina Klebe, and also Danielle Harris. I already got Danielle Harris's autograph twice. I didn't really feel the need to get hers again, but I did go get the other two girls' autographs, and I'll throw in some close-ups here. Christina's thing was really cool. She put in like a huge quote on there, which is really neat. I have my wall of autographs, which is just up here from me, and you can't see it, but it's here, trust me, believe me. And every so often I like going through just looking at all the things that they write before they actually sign it. Some people don't. Some people have like really generic things like kill you later and things. I don't know. But most of them, I think I have one repeat of like a dumb phrase on there, and the rest are all actually unique to each other. And this is one that nobody else is ever going to write, I'm sure. So that was great. Scout was more just directly just doing a signature. It was kind of fun because I have, she was looking at my arm, and I have Halloween 2 Michael Myers here. And I got to have my conversation with her about how I know not a lot of people love that one, but I really enjoy it, at least visually. So yeah, got to nerd out on that one for a little bit. And as somebody whose horror collecting has shifted a lot from a lot of action figures to being more prop and mask replica based, this con was amazing for me because not only was Trick or Treat Studios, the company that makes a lot of these replicas, the inexpensive but good quality, better than Ruby's, not as good as somebody making something custom kind of thing. Kind of a nice little middle ground with their stuff usually. And so they were there themselves, and there was another booth that's there traditionally, and they sell a lot of Trick or Treat Studio stuff, but they also carry some like Ruby stuff, some Spirit Halloween stuff, all kinds of other Halloween costumes and props and things like that. So it's cool because those two booths for me supplemented each other. I could check one, check the other, see what I could find. I had a list I made up, an unrealistic list of items from Trick or Treat Studios I wanted to look for just to keep my mind a little more focused on what I was actually wanting to add to my collection. I didn't find much, but I found some cool stuff. And the first thing I got, which was from I can't remember the name of the booth, I have it in the video, and I have the guy who rehauled this mask in the video, and I am blanking, so I'll put the names in here afterwards. But they actually had several Trick or Treat Studios Myers masks, not just the 2018, I believe he had a couple others as well, rehauled and available for purchase, which is awesome because I've been looking for a rehauled 2018 Myers specifically, and so a couple other ones I want to either get, rehauled or buy a higher end version. But because the Tots one is basically from the movie mold, that's the one that I feel like if I'm gonna have anyone that's rehauled, that's the right one to have rehauled. They had a couple different copies. This one just spoke to me. I liked kind of the darker look to it. Honestly, I haven't really had a chance to admire it fully since I got it home. Very happy to pick that up. The price was super reasonable, and I really like it. And then as I got into this was actually outside in like the main hallway area. There's a little, I don't know what you call it. It's a hotel, so it's just a big, more open area of the hallway, I guess. That's where this booth was. And inside, kind of right up front in the main vendor room, was the Trick or Treat Studios booth. And I knew I had to get some, these. The movie Haunt. I am a big fan of it. I really enjoy it. I picked up the deluxe DVD set, or Blu-ray set, why did I say DVD? That had, posters of the main four masks, which are these masks I have here. They had some magnets. They had a map of the haunt itself. All kinds of cool, add-ins. And that map I thought was, such a cool prop replica. And I knew I had to get some replica masks to go with it. And once I saw Tots were doing it, I believe these are also off of the movie mold. They're not 100% accurate for multiple reasons, but they are pretty close. And I think they're decent for what they are and for the price. So I picked these up. So I got the Ghost, the Witch, the Clown, and the Devil. So those are kind of the main four. Those are also the four that the posters were in the Blu-ray set. There are two more. There's a vampire and a zombie. I do not have those. They did not have them there. So I do intend to pick those up eventually, but great start to setting up this set, and I was really excited to grab them. Another booth that I love visiting, absolutely love, is Image Motor Productions. I've featured them before. I have some Krampus gingerbread men replicas from them. They make the cane from Jurassic Park. They do giant replicas of the Demogorgon. If you go to their booth, there's a giant Demogorgon outside of it. They have Bruce the Shark, as honestly, I was gonna say life size. It's probably half scale because that shark's supposed to be giant, but it's a big ass Bruce the Shark. They do a bunch of Jurassic Park stuff. Great company. I've talked to them at many cons. Really nice people. I want to put out there, their stuff has been getting, images of their stuff has been getting attached to these scam sites. So they're acting like, they're like putting up Facebook ads where you see Image Motors work, sometimes even with their like watermark tag still in the picture, and they're claiming it as their own, selling, and who knows what you get when you order, because the prices are about 1/10 of what they should be for anything on there. But I didn't really have big aspirations for getting stuff from them. The thing I knew I wanted was this guy here. It is a stress ball in the shape of a human heart. It is, I think, pure silicone, they told me. It's heavier than I would have ever thought it was. Why am I tossing it? Like, you could see the weight of it from me tossing it. I don't know. Really cool, though. Some nice detail on it. It is very satisfying to smush. I thought this would be cool for my My Bloody Valentine display. If I can get, like, a box of chocolates and do some stuff with that and put that in the middle of it. I thought it was cool. And then the thing they added in as a con exclusive, and I think they may either do other versions of these later or make some available or something, but for now they were considered a con exclusive, are these little Stay Puft Marshmallow Men. So it looks like, just from the trailer I've seen so far, Ghostbusters Afterlife is going to have these guys, like a bunch of little mini Stay Puffs, and they looked cool. Like, I feel like it's, Ghostbusters trying to get their Baby Yoda thing going on, but I don't hate it from what I've seen in the commercials. It seems like it could be fun. And they made a bunch of these guys. They had them available, so I snagged one. My friend was asking them if they were going to do a burnt variant because their display was a much larger version, holding one on a stick and roasting it over a fake fire. So kind of hoping that happens eventually. And who knows, I think by the next time Spooky rolls around, the movie will have been out, so maybe we'll get some other cool variants of these. Or maybe we won't care, but I'm hoping that movie's good. But if anything else, it's Stay Puft. It's just small. Next up, I don't even know if it was next up, but at some point, I stumbled across this vendor. I actually saw a picture of his work on Instagram the other day. Didn't know of them before that, as far as I know. And I'm going to try to explain this, and it's going to sound way more philosophical and whatever than it should be. I've had this weird thing. Like, I know it's human nature to recognize patterns and to just make those associations. It's, a big part of our evolution or whatever. But the painting, The Scream, has popped up for me a lot lately, and I'm not really sure why, but it keeps kind of coming up for me. And I love King of the Hill, and I saw this, and I couldn't help myself. I had to have it. It felt right to own this. He had some smaller, postcard-sized images of some of his work, and I was asking for that initially, and he didn't have any of this, and I was just like, screw it, I need to own it, so I bought the bigger size. I might butcher this guy's last name, but the name I'm seeing on here is Carlos Aurelio. I will put his name down below. I had some other really cool ones. This just really stood out to me as something I had to own. So in the course of filming this recap, I somehow neglected to include one of the coolest things I saw at the con. Hop Toys, or HOP Toys, or High on Plastic Toys is what that stands for, revealed they are doing an officially licensed Guar figure, and actually a whole series of them. And the night prior to me being at the con on Saturday, they had revealed the prototype of the Odorous Urungus figure. I'm a huge Guar fan. I have an Odorous Urungus tattoo, and I was so excited to see this pop up. A lot of companies have tried to do Guar stuff in the past, and they've never come to fruition, and this seems like a legit chance to actually get some Guar figures. The prototype looked great. They do a lot of other things in a similar style, where it is more obscure characters done in that vinyl format. It sounds like the goal price is supposed to be relatively affordable. I think he said sub $70, if I remember right. Don't quote me on that one. And it sounds like they have the rights to do the whole band, and from the way they were describing it, outside of Odorous, the plan would be to do the current lineup as it is now, because I did specifically ask if they were going to do a Flatus Maximus figure, and I believe the comment he made to me was, the band said, if these sell, you could do anything you want, we'll let you do Scrota Moon, which, even if you're a Guar fan, do you even remember who Scrota Moon is? But this had me super excited. I will definitely be pre-ordering this thing the second it becomes available for pre-order. I can't wait to add this to my collection. So at this point, had a lot of stuff, and my friend ended up buying the Trick or Treat Studios Chucky doll, the good guy doll. So we were kind of burdened down. So we went back to my truck, dropped off a bunch of stuff, and I decided I wanted to do one last spin through the con before we took off for the day. And one of the other guests they had was Corey Taylor from Slipknot, Stone Sour. And while I don't listen to a lot of their music now, in high school I was really big into like the early first 3 Slipknot albums and all that. It was about the time when the third one came out, I think, was like peak high school for me. I thought it'd be cool to have his autograph. And when I first got there, he had a massive line, so I passed on it. I felt like I wanted it, but I didn't need it badly enough that I was going to wait in this huge line. Probably wasn't that bad, because when I got up there, I realized there actually was taped off social distancing markers on the floor. So the line probably looked longer than it was, but the line was really short when I went back in. So I went and actually got his autograph. Probably the briefest conversation I had today, but I think he was also about to head off to a photo shoot. So I think he was just trying to eat through the line as quickly as he could. Of all things to ask him about, I was asking, there's these videos online of him doing these acoustic tours where it's just him and 1 or 2 other people doing acoustic versions of both his music and random cover songs. And while that kind of sounds lame, the energy of the crowd in it just seems so goofy and ridiculous that I want to experience it. And I was just kind of are you gonna do that again? Because that looked like a hell of a lot of fun. So that was my conversation with Corey Taylor, of all things I could have. And then I went back to the Trigger Shoot Studios booth. I knew I wanted this guy, the 2018 Myers figure, so I added him. I haven't taken a super good look at him yet, but I actually like him a lot more than the Part 4 from what I've seen so far. Yeah, I think he's a solid one from what I can tell so far. And then this guy was sitting right at the edge of the booth. Not this guy specifically, but one of these, an example of this. And I've been threatening to get one and have it sitting in my entryway when you walk into my place. So there's just a flashing gremlin there when you walk in the door. And I finally bit the bullet and picked him up. After that was pretty much it. Called it a day at the con. Stopped at a few other places looking for a couple items that had just eluded me. Honestly, I've been looking for the ultimate NECA dog alien, and I just missed out on that one, and really all I want is a stupid accessory out of the bag, the chest burster. So I don't even know why I'm trying so hard to get that thing, but I went and tried a couple other stores to find it. I didn't find it. I did find the Kong from the Godzilla vs. Kong tie-in comic. That's over there. Did not bring that over here because the table's full, but I did buy that, just believe me. And that was basically it. Just got some food, drove home. All was good. But I had a blast at Spooky Empire. I've definitely branched out over the years and done more different cons and stuff, but Spooky is the one that I have, I think, the most fun at. It's probably tied with Dragon Con, I think, for that, and it's 2 completely different experiences, but I really love Spooky. PD, the guy who kind of runs the thing, he runs it with the help of tons of other people too, but super nice dude, and you could tell he's just working his ass off to make everything come together. So I definitely appreciate everything that went into making this happen. And from what he was telling me, it sounds like the one in October, which is going to be back in Orlando. No going back to Tampa, I guess, anymore, which is fine by me, closer, but it sounds like it's going to be awesome. It sounds like it's going to be back in one of the previous hotels that we've had it in, that was we've had it in like I'm any part of doing it, but they've had it in that was just this cool convention center attached to a hotel. There's a great space, has a stage, and hopefully by then, with more people getting vaccinated, and hopefully we'll be able to lift some of these restrictions and it can be a little more normal. I don't expect it to be fully normal, but this felt normal enough for me for a con, and it felt good to me. It felt safe. I didn't feel like it was, I didn't feel like I was putting myself at risk being there. Everybody was wearing a mask. The distancing wasn't always perfect. It's just hard, but everybody it felt like people just kept moving, so it didn't feel like you were really, or at least I never felt like I was really bogged down in people. I felt like I could usually get away if I needed to. I'm sure maybe some people may not have that same experience, but for me, that's what it was. I felt good about it, and I'm really just looking forward to October now and doing it again. And yeah, I don't know, I literally went today, came home, and I'm sitting here already daydreaming about the next one. And I guess that's a sign of a successful con right there, right? I had a lot of fun. So before I just keep rambling and just saying I had a lot of fun over and over and over, I'm going to wrap it up there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.